Hello fellow map makers, welcome to another live map making session. Now again, appropriately starting with the church bells in the background. I hope you can hear them, because it's warm enough now to have the window open. So you do get the full bells as far as they go. Let me know whether the sound is good. Thank you, thank you, Sue. That sounds great. And you might also be hearing thunder in the background at some point, because we've got lightning storms rolling in. I've got half an eye on the weather radar, and on the dark clouds I see through the window. We'll see how far we get with the session tonight. Good that you can both hear both the bells and me, Vivan. Wonderful. All right, so let's get started while we can, while the lightning strikes are not getting too close, and see what we can learn about the new Cartographer's Annual that we released on Wednesday. And it is all about stairs this time, with some extra drawing tools that let you draw stairs and give you some functionality that lets you create stairs outside of the normal fixed stair symbols we have in the dungeon styles. The annual issue is not style specific. I've set up the tools for 3 different styles, but you can also import them quite easily into other styles and use them in there or create your own tools. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to start a new map for this one, and I'm going to use the DD3 dungeon style for this as one of the most common ones used. And the other two I've set the tools up for is the John Roberts dungeon style and the Mike Schley Dungeons of Slay style. So you'll find similar tools to the ones I'm using here in there. And yes, Sue's post reminds me, if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them or show on screen, if I can, what you want to know. Alright, so I'm chosen the DD3 dungeon style, click next, and then I'm do a fairly small size template so we can actually see something here and don't need to zoom in that far. And then I'm going to click finish, and I'm going to save the map in our video folder. And let's call it the My Stairs map. Here we go. I do have the grid button dots quite strongly. I hope this is okay on video, because otherwise, if they have the small versions of the dots, you can't really see much. And I'm going to be using the grid quite a bit during this session, so that might be useful. Let me know if it gets too annoying on screen. Alright, so what do I want to do? I'm thinking I do want to create a kind of a cliff inside a cave, or a rock wall where a stair is going up in front of that. And for that, we don't really have a fitting stair symbol. If I click the stairs here and load up the normal campaign Cartographer or Dungeon Designer 3 stairs catalog, you'll see we do have these fixed 5 by 10 feet stairs with the big arrows on them, and they're quite limited to how you can align them and what you can do with them. Of course, you can scale them in different directions and so on, but we want to do something a little bit more special in this case, and so we are gonna try the new drawing tools. First off, I do need my cliff face. I do need a basically a drop off in a cave. So I'm thinking I might actually want to change my floors a little bit. So I'm going to change the background fill style first. Change fill style by layer background and press D for do it. Right click to bring up the fill style dialogs, and I'm going to do a dirt dark, fairly dark dirt style. Let's do the darkest of our gray dirts. There we go. And now I'm going to draw in a cliff face, bisecting the map basically. For that I'm going to start off by doing just a floor in a different fill style. Let's see. And I'm going to use a lighter gray. I'm going to go for the medium in here. And I'm going to draw a straight section first where I want to align my stair to. Let's do it from here to here. And then I'm going to turn off snap and just draw a little bit more of a irregular cliff face here. Whoops, that was a misclick. Here you go. So I'm where I want to be. Right click, and there's my cliff face. Let's turn on sheet effects, but we're going to see it's really not, it doesn't look like a cliff face because I've just drawn a different floor here. I do need to raise this up on a higher floor basically. And for that, I'm going to set up a second floor sheet. So I'm going to call it floors raised. And I'm actually going to copy my wall effects over to that sheet because I want that to look similar. And then I'm going to move, I'm going to move the polygon I just drew over to the new sheet. Go, and that's better. See, I wanted the shadow on this one and the little bevel effect that we normally have on the walls sheet. So that does look a bit like a cliff face going up here. Alright, so next up I need my stairs. So let's have a look, a quick look here, and right click our all dungeon drawing tools and scroll down. And there's, oops, a little bit too far. There are my new stair tools. See, we do have curved ones along smooth paths and straight ones along normal paths. We do have steps that are a little bit spaced apart, and we've got what I've called stairs, where the symbols are close together. We've got smooth stairs and rougher ones, the normal ones. Where's my... I think they're up here. Yeah, they're the ones I was looking for. We've got them in 5-foot width and 10-foot width. And so we can... I'm going to go for the 10-foot width, just so we do see a little bit more on screen here. You might, for a dungeon, perhaps go for the more narrow one, but I'm going to pick the larger one here for the moment. So I'm going to pick the drawing tool, and now I do need to turn on the grid again. I'm actually also going to turn on cursor snap. That means I can see my cursor snapping to the points. And the thing is, I do need to draw the stairs always from the bottom up. That's the way then that the symbols that the drawing tool uses overlap then they'll overlap correctly. I have to keep that in mind. Let's just have a quick look what grid I have. I do have a 5-foot grid, and I'm drawing a 10-foot stair, so I'm going to switch to the 10-foot grid here for the time being. And since I'm going up here, I have to take a little bit look. I basically want to draw a switchback from the stair. I want to go this way and then the other way further up. And so I do this would be the first 10 feet of the stair width and then here. So I need to start at this point because I'm drawing the middle line of the stair. And I'm going to go from the right to the left on the first switchback, like here, all the way up to here, then to this point and back to here. And there's my basic layout of the stairs. We'll see. We need to do a little bit of cleanup. Going to do a little bit of stuff to this so it looks correctly. Because the symbols along tool that this uses can't do everything on its own, but we've got the basics down. Basically, we've got the stairs running up from here, switching over to this side, and then back. So one thing I want a platform here at this side, a landing, not the overlapping steps here. And for that, to fix that, we can simply delete these stairs here. Do these first, and then I do want a little bit more of the landing here. Let's do 2, and now I've accidentally selected the background for the stair, so I'm gonna go. And as you can see here, that's stairs going up this way and then going this way again. What it can't do, it can't take the full lighting into effect with the shadows or anything. That's because the shadows on the stairs are fixed and I can't predict the direction. So we'll have to live with that. That's always the little shadow on the step here that always shows the way down. It doesn't show the actual light falling that we might have defined in the map. So see, that's the step with the shadow falling down here. And I'm thinking I might want to erase one more here. Let's have a quick look. Yes, that's nice, and I also want to erase a few of the steps here on that side. There we go. And what I don't like here, actually what looks wrong here, the overlap. And that happens because the tool creates a new sheet. I've decided to have these symbols, the step symbols, go on their own sheet on symbol stairs for easier handling, but that means this sheet is not defined on existing templates like from Dungeon Designer. So it does get added at the end of the list. So the first time in a map you've used these tools, you have to go into the sheet dialog and move that sheet up to the correct position. And in this case, I want it to be above floors, but just below floors raised. And now you can see we've got the section here directly underneath the edge of the cliff. Alright, sorry, I was looking at some of the questions they are popping up on the chat. I should not do that. I should probably concentrate on mapping and wait for Sue to forward me any questions that are not directly answered there. Alright, so that looks mostly right. I'm not quite happy with how the background looks with the steps in here, and for that we do have an extra drawing tool that lets you draw landings on top of the stairs. So let's have a look here again into, I'm going to uncheck the display here, just so it makes it easier to find stuff. And I do have the stair landing gray in here. And that's just something I can draw across the map here. There we go. And I also want one here at this point. There we go. And that will make the landing a little bit clearer. You can do something, you can actually then go in and merge the landing into the order of the steps. Say I want the landing to be directly above this stair here, or actually let's make sure we don't hit the background, like it should be here, and I want to select that, and then I can also perhaps delete this step. And this, yeah, now you can see the landing is on top of this step, but below this one. And that does look a little better. Quite happy with that. And I might also perhaps go in and add a little bit of a shadow on these, on the wall shadow on the stairs, because we've got the shadow drop from the cliff, and we would expect a little bit of a shadow drop from the stairs as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the floors raised sheet, copy the wall shadow over to the simple stairs, but make it a bit shorter. And there we've got the shadow on the steps, and I quite like that. That looks nice. Now perhaps we want to extend the stairway a little bit. Perhaps we're thinking this is quite simple. We have got the switchback now here, going up, and then on top of the cliff. I could go in and add a little bit more of a winding stair that goes further down along here. So I could simply combine existing stairs. So let's have a look and go into our 10-foot gray stair again, but choose the curved one this time. I'm gonna start at this edge here, and then I'm gonna turn off snap and just go a little this way here. And what I'm actually seeing, I think I do have the tool still set to be limited to the map border. That is, I think it will look okay on this version, but for some cases where you extend quite a bit beyond the, it might be nicer to extend it beyond the border for the symbols, but here in the corner it will be fine. Or not. As you can see, it stopped a bit too early here for my taste. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to undo that and undo again to get the background, rid of the background as well. Go into my tool and uncheck the restrict to map border option. Here we go. And now let's do that again. Turn on snap. Draw the first view on the grid and then go off the grid. Here we go. We will need to add a color to the map later to hide this stuff extending beyond the border, because the dungeon designer is not set up with a blocking color around the map by default. Alright, so, and let's see how this goes. It doesn't quite look right, because I would expect this to butt up against the cliff face or cave fall, and for that I'm gonna go in and go back to my floor tool, floor dirt 3 straight. I'm gonna edit this one here, and I'm gonna draw this a little bit across the edge of the stair, connect it to here, and now my stairway butts up correctly against the cliff face. Ah yes, thanks. I have actually drawn this the wrong way around. Quentin reminds me I have to draw from the bottom up, which I explained earlier, and you can see that these don't look correctly here at this point. I've made the exact mistake I was mentioning earlier. I need to start off from the bottom of the stairs. So we do need to undo this a bit. Well, I'm not going to undo that. Instead, I'm going to erase the stuff here. I can also select more here and then say combine and also select by layer up and down. Remove and see I've got everything. And now I'm going to go back to my stair tool and draw it probably from the bottom up. Thank you, Quentin. That was my mistake. Here we go. So let's start here. Let's snuggle up to the cliff face here a bit, then turn on snap, 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 all the way up to here. And I grabbed the wrong tool. That was not the stairs tool, that was the steps. Yes, I grabbed the steps instead of the gray stair. I'm hearing the first far of thunder out there. See how long this can go on. And there, there, and there. And that's... And now the stairs are going the correct direction here. Let's do a color quickly on the map, just to show you. You type that in and then just accept the defaults. And there you go. And actually the screen sheet gets added at the end here as well. If you want to show the map border above the screen, you just need to move the screen up one step, and then now we can see the map border again. All right, so there was a question from Andrew. Can you make a custom drawing tool with specific widths? Yes, you absolutely can. It's pretty easy, actually. And it's a good opportunity to show you how to draw or modify a drawing tool. There's two parts to the stairs drawing tools. There's, first off, is the symbols along command, and then the drawing tool that draws the line for the stair and then calls the symbols along command. So let's take a look at the symbols along first. You find that under draw, symbols along. And here is the current one we've used listed. Basically, we've got a couple stair symbols that are similar but not the same. 10 foot by 2 feet in gray. And then we've said that this is placed on every possible step, chance to place 100% in this configuration here, in this angle. Distance uses the symbol width and does have a 25% overlap. And then, importantly, the size of the symbol here, where we can say how large it should be. Here I'm using the default for that. Now say I wanted a 6 foot wide stair. The easiest way to do that is simply to change this symbol along setting and set everything to 60%. And way the symbols will be scaled to 6 feet. We don't need to change anything else because the overlaps use percent values or the symbol width. That will always already take this reduced size into account. What we need to do, we need to save the setting. And there we are running in the little problem I tend to have with this. There's a little bug in the symbols along dialog. Basically, if you use the command before, the save and load buttons don't bring up the file dialog. What we need to do, we just need to cancel this here, save the map, close it down once, and start it again. And then when we go into the symbols along command here, and you see we've got the same settings. The campaign controller does remember that. I can now save this, and it brings up the file settings. Now I'm going to save this in the program data folder for C33+, and the typical folder for that is system, fillers, annual. And here you'll find the steps here, metric versions, and if we go further down, steps. The 3 steps, 5 by 1, 10 by 1 here is the brown version, and the, oops, gray version. A little bit further down still. Here we are. And I'm just going to rename this to a new, and I'll just make this 6 feet instead of 10 by 2. And gonna save this setting. Now, if you've already drawn a line, we could just draw a line in here and then use the setting on that. Say, for that I've included some guidelines here. Say I wanted a smooth stair going from here down this way. I could now go in, and this, again, I need to draw from the bottom to the top. It starts raining now outside. Okay, let's see. Still no big thunder or lightning at the moment. And I'm going to go symbols along, grab the setting here, click OK, click my line, and you can see it fills the line with stairs and steps. But I do want perhaps a drawing tool for this. And for that, I'll go into tools again in the advanced version of the dialog. Let's grab the one I'm basing this on. Here we go. And then I want to create a new setting. So I'm going to go new, and I want to set this to 6 feet stairs. There, the stuff remains the same, gray and curved. Now I first need to set the width of the line, if I want to have it in a proper background. To that, I do make it a little bit smaller than the original, than the stairs on top, just because I don't want it at the corners to overlap outside. So I'm going to use 6.8 or 6.75. No, not 6, but 5.75. There we go. Okay. And then I need to change the macro that the drawing tool calls, because that loads the setting. See, here this is the command for loading the symbols along setting that I'm using, and here this one was using the 10 by 2 setting. So I'm going to change this to the 6 feet one I created. Okay, and save the tool. Now, why doesn't show it a preview? That's because each new drawing tool does need its own little preview drawing, and we don't have one for this one, so we don't get a preview at this point. But that's not a big deal. We know how that looks with the other stairs. It will just look basically the same. Or we can also create our own one. I'll show you in a minute. But for now, I can just grab the stairs again. Start off from outside here, draw it all the way up to here, and there we get my narrow stair going up to the stair landing up there. And that's how I've set up my not as wide stair. What you do get, the steps also get narrower. In this case, if you want to vary that, keep the depth of the stairs the same but vary the width, you'll have to create a new symbol and scale that symbol, and then use that symbol in the setting instead of the original one. Alright, so let's undo this here, because I don't want, in this map I do want to show you how to set up the preview drawing for the tool. So for that, let's go into the File Explorer, go to my Program Data folder, C3+, let's bring it up in here so you can see that, and go to System, Draw Tools. Now we need to load the style we're using. That was Dungeon DV3 Color. And let's locate our stair tool we created. This was 6 foot. That's the steps. Stair 10 foot. 6 foot. There's our newly created tool. See, it does have 2 files. DTO is the original drawing tool file. DTM is where the macro is stored in. This is basically a text file, which you can also edit the text editor here. So you could do the same I've done in there within Campaign Cartographer in here, but we don't need to change this anymore. What it does need is a FCW file here that has the preview. And if you take a quick look at this one here, you see that it is basically the preview that you see in the list of drawing tools. And so what we're going to do, we just simply grab an existing one, make a copy of that, and it does need to have the same basic file name as the drawing tool. So make it 6 foot and remove the copy part. Go. And if we now go into our drawing tool list, go in advanced, you'll see we do have a preview. And you can of course change that. You could even put in text in there that shows. You can anything you put in the normal drawing, except for sheet effects, will show up here in the preview. Or it might even be sheet effects, but that might slow down the previews quite a bit. So I don't recommend that. And that's how you set up your own custom drawing tools. And that's that in here. What I also wanted to show you is how to use these in a railings. Okay, yes, of course, Bill asks for railings on this, and we can of course do that. Actually, let's turn on sheet effects. I wanted to do a few others things. So say I do want to add a bit of K-folds here. So I can of course do my normal walls. So let's have a quick look and choose the K-fold with current fill, current width, closed version, but we make this 0 width. So we have an area and make the fill style solid. Oops, black color. We turn off the grid. No, yeah. And the snap, and see that we do a little bit of K-folds here. Might even overlap this here, so we are up on the straight wall and there's no ledge above that. We could also make a little pillars with that. Perhaps even make this a little bit larger here. And there's the K-folds of my cave. And now if I wanted to add a railing, the easiest to do that is to do these as walls. So let's say I do have a railing here or on top. I could go in and choose the wall here with current fill and current width. Or actually, let's just set it to the default here first. But make this 1 foot. And then you could turn on the grid again and put a railing in here, for example. You might even trace existing lines with the wall all the way to here. And perhaps a railing here. But perhaps the shadow is too strong for us, so it's not a full wall. So what we can do, we'll set up a separate sheet for that. Let's put that underneath here, add walls, railing. There we go. And move the sheet. Select the 2 walls here, combine and layer walls. Do it towards railing. and then vary the effects. We don't need the glow on these perhaps, but we might want a shadow on the, oops, shadow on the bevel. Copy, paste it in here, and make it just one with half the blur, and the bevel also half the width. And now we do have, oh, we might even change this to a bit narrower, so change line width by layer walls, combine, and these two here, do it and make it just half a foot wide. And if you wanted to make these into just railing posts, not a full line, you could change the line style for that, for example. So let's do that. Let's change line style, prior, do it, and let's see whether do we have anything defined in here. Yeah, we have got a railing defined in here already. Let's see how that looks. And there we go. And there we've got the brakes in there already. Take a look. Perhaps there's the bevel is perhaps a little bit wide for this. And I'm seeing lightning out there now, and it's getting a bit close, something I don't like much at all. So what I'm unfortunately have to do, I'm gonna cut the session short here for the moment. And yeah, it's not looking too good there. Lightning in the distance, and I hear the thunder rumbling, and I'm bit of a marked person there for had one computer being fried from a current spike during a thunderstorm. So I'd rather turn off the computer for now. Sorry for that, people, but at least we got a good 2/3 of the session done, which is nice. And I've shown you the main things, how to use the stair drawing tools, and the how to edit the ones, set up your own ones, and have a good one, and see you again next week. All the best. Bye bye.